Hey everyone, welcome to May's Masterclass, where we are covering the secrets to safe and successful online dating. I am so excited to be with you guys for another month. We've been doing this for a couple of months now, and it's been fun for me. Hopefully, it's been fun for you guys too. I've been doing these live, and it's been really exciting to be able to hear some of your feedback after I've presented them. Some of you guys have presented some questions, some of you don't. No big deal. But I'm just happy to be able to provide this service for you guys. So, what we're going to talk about today, we're going to cover the dangers of online dating. Three major aspects of it that we're going to talk about today are going to be to feel safe and secure when using the dating apps. I know a lot of people are really tired of using dating apps in general, but I know a lot of you guys are still out there using them, and that's great. But let's make sure that you're feeling really safe doing so. I'm going to talk about how to spot the fake accounts and profiles on dating sites and social media. They're going to be really similar to one another, but we're going to talk about how to pinpoint certain things that are fake. You probably already know how to see a lot of it, so some of it might be review, but some of it might be new for some of you guys. We're going to then finish up by talking about creative ways to make your dating experience fun and make sure they align with what your goals are. Clarity is probably going to be the key for any of your dating experiences, whether you're using a matchmaker, online dating apps, or just trying to meet someone the old-fashioned way by meeting them in person. So make sure that you're having fun and make sure it's exciting, because dating should be a good time. It shouldn't feel like a job. Some of you may not know who I am. Let me move my face over here. Sorry. If you have not met me yet, hi, I'm Andrea. I'm the founder of Date Smarter, and I want you to see that I am qualified to be here, not just because I have been where you are. I've gone through what you're going through. I've had to really learn how to set healthy boundaries around my relationships and learn how to really communicate those. No one's ever going to be perfect at it, but I have been where you are. I know what you're experiencing. I know what you're feeling, but also that not just relatable, but I also come with qualifications, certifications. I've made sure that I'm educated enough to be here to teach you. I know there are a lot of programs out there to choose from when you are trying to improve your dating and relationship skills. And some of them are extremely qualified. Some of them will play up to the fact that they found the love of their life and they're going to teach you how to find the love of their life, which is great. Just because someone does it for themselves doesn't make them good at teaching others. So here I am presenting to you today all of the certifications that do make me good at teaching others and presenting these skills to you. If you don't know me and don't know my business, just a quick little tidbit here. I wrote the book, Get the Girl. It sounds like it's just for men, but it actually is a book for women as well. I talk a lot about my own personal dating experiences. After going back and rereading it, I realized, ooh, some of them are kind of embarrassing. So no judgment there, please. But mostly it's a lot of information of what I teach in my online course and what I teach during my coaching sessions, kind of packed into this little easy to read book. You can get it on Amazon, or you can find it on my website, datesmartersexier.com. But also the audiobook is coming out soon, so it'll be on Audible, I think within the next week. You can find it on Audible if you'd rather listen to it. Unfortunately, I don't read it myself. Someone else read it for me. I don't have the experience in knowing how to read an Audible. So it is read by someone else. But I personally like to listen to my books, so I totally get it if you do too. At Date Smarter, we offer a lot of programs, and I don't want to go through them. I don't want to be that person who sits here selling their programs to you for 20 minutes, and we're 5 minutes into this live. So I just want to let you know that we have a lot of different programs, and if you are interested in any of them, check out the website. Feel free to book a free consultation with me if you have questions. There's no obligation to sign up for anything, but I don't want to talk about the programs here today. I just want to focus today on giving you all of the information on how to stay safe and be very successful in your dating, especially when we're talking about online dating. Okay, so let's dive into it. Number one, how to stay safe when you are dating online. I want you to be very, very particular on which apps you use. For everyone, this is going to depend on where you live. It's going to vary from city to city. Small town is going to be very different versus a big city versus a US city. If you're in the UK or Australia or Canada, it might be very different for you as well. So do your research on what apps you're using. Make sure that you understand, for one, there's a couple things. The popularity of that app in your city is going to be a big deal. So I'm going to give you an example. A lot of you know that I live in a small city on the central coast of California called San Luis Obispo. And in this city, the app Tinder is the most used app for hookups. Yes, I know a lot of people who found really amazing relationships by using it, but because the majority of people are using it, so are the majority of scammers. And it can be very, very challenging to use Tinder in this town simply based on the fact that there are a lot of scammers on it, and especially if you're over the age of 50. So I don't usually suggest people around here to use the app because it's going to be hit or miss, really. Your chances of successfully dating off of it over the age of 50 is going to be pretty low. If you're in your 20s, go for it. Even if you're looking for a serious relationship, I still say go for it. But be very mindful of the app that you're using in your area. It's going to really make a difference on whether or not you're successful. It's also going to make a huge difference on the number of scammers you're going to find on there. The easier it is to create a profile on a dating site, the easier it is going to be for a scammer to be on there as well. Fake profiles, people who are just looking to make money off of you. So be really, really mindful of the app they're using. Make sure they have a good reputation, even though we all know Tinder, and Tinder has a reputation. And Tinder is the most used dating site globally right now. But it's also the most used for scammers as well. So be mindful of that. If you live in a tech area, so say you're up in like Seattle area, you're going to probably want to look into using an app like Coffee Meets Bagel because of the history behind who created it and everything. It's a more reputable dating site to use. So just think of who you're using. If you're using Match, if you're using eHarmony, how usable is it in your area, but also how secure is it? What are the privacy settings on there? Do you feel safe using it? Okay. And then number two, I want you to be very mindful with the personal information that you share on the dating apps. So not just in the conversation that you're having when you're chatting with someone through the app, but what information that is specific to you are you putting on the actual profile? Now, look, there's going to be risk having a dating app profile in general, mostly because think of and I'm not trying to scare anyone, but how easy is it for someone to screenshot your image, your picture, and do a reverse Google search to find you? And trust me, I know, because this used to happen to me all the time. People would reverse image search me and find my entire business. They'd find everything about me. It's kind of freaky. So be aware of the fact that whatever you're saying about yourself on that app, don't lie. I'm not saying lie about anything. And I'm not saying be so vague that it's suspicious. I'm saying be very, very mindful of the specificity of what you do for a living, where you live, things like that. Just be cautious, okay? Mindful and cautious. Um, Obviously, you're not going to use your first and last name, even though I think some of the apps still allow you to. Don't use your first and last name. Just use your first name. If you go by a nickname that you actually use the nickname. That's fine too. But make sure that once you meet this person face to face, you let them know that, look, hey, I use a nickname on, say you're using Hinge. I use a nickname on Hinge. Instead of using Andrea, I go by Dre or Ann or whatever the nickname might be. And when you introduce yourself face to face and you're finally meeting in person, then you can say, like, I actually go by Andrea, but my friends will call me Dre sometimes. So I use that just to stay safe. It also means maybe not exchanging phone numbers as early as you normally would have. I know there's going to be a lot of contradiction today because I do talk about getting off the app and meeting as soon as possible for dating success. And this is going to go a little bit against some of that because today I really want you to know the steps to take to stay safe if you're using dating apps. It is okay for you to tell someone when you start chatting with them that you would like to take things slow because of safety. You can tell them your safety concerns. More than likely, if they don't respect it or if they're a scammer or whatever the situation is, if they're just looking for a hookup, they're probably going to unmatch you pretty quickly anyways. So don't share too much personal information. Number 3, verified profiles are your friend. I know for a fact that Bumble does this, and Tinder does too, but I'm going to talk about them a little bit separately because how they verify are a little different. So you're looking for those little blue check marks that show you that this is a verified account. What does that mean when it's a verified account? It means that the other person has taken a selfie of themselves to verify that their pictures on their profile match with their actual face. So there's that. So do the research, make sure that you know that that's what it's doing. That's what Bumble is. Bumble is actually using an algorithm to make sure that your face matches your profile's face, same person. That means you can't take someone else's pictures from the internet and use them and create a fake profile. Okay, the blue check mark also means for some that you're just human. I'm not, don't quote me on this. I think it's Tinder. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's Tinder when it gives you the blue check mark and verifies. It's just verifying that you're human, not that you're the right human to match those photos, just that you're human. So be cautious of that. So look it up, research the apps. If you're going to use a dating site, make sure that you understand what their privacy looks like. What does it mean if you have a verified account? Social media is now offering for people to pay for a verified account as well. Instagram, Facebook. I don't know how it works for Facebook dating as far as that verification, but I would assume they would use the same verification process. So be mindful of, is there an option for them to verify, and have they done it? And have you done it? because then remember, there's a flip side to this. You're trying to attract someone as well. So it's a good idea for you to go in and verify your account. Most dating apps don't require you to pay for that feature. So just go in and do it, verify your account. So then it gives other people ease as well. Number 4, take things slow. Now, here is where I was a little concerned about going against some of the things I've said in the past. So I'm going to try and clarify this all really as best as I can, but really well, hopefully. Okay. If you follow me, you have heard me say in the past, get off the apps as soon as possible, meet. And then we're talking about success, getting in front of as many dates as possible so that you can have dating success. For some of my clients, I've put them through a 30 dates in 90 days kind of program where I want them to get in front of as many dates as possible. There is a purpose to that. It's so that you have dating success. The more people you can get in front of and the faster you can meet, you are not creating these fake personalities. So the 2 images on the slide, right? If I'm looking to date someone, let's take the guy, right? And say I see this picture of him and I think, oh, he's a nice looking guy. And his profile says that he is 5'11" and he works in tech and I don't know, he doesn't have kids and he loves to travel. Okay, so that's his profile. And I'm looking at this profile and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he sounds absolutely amazing, right up my alley. It's exactly what I'm looking for. But now I start creating these personality traits about him. They don't fit. And I'm thinking, oh, he's got a nice smile. I bet he's got a really great sense of humor and can crack a joke. And it's just natural. It's human behavior for us to start creating this fake persona based off of what we've read on a profile and the few text exchanges that we've had. So like I said, say for example, his profile says that he likes to travel and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I bet he's been to Asia. I bet he's been to Europe. Oh my God, we could take a trip together for 2 weeks and we can go to France and we can see the Eiffel Tower and we can drink coffee and whatever, right? I'm creating this idea of this is the type of person I want to date. This is ideal for me. And then I meet this poor guy and he says like, yeah, I travel everywhere. I go camping and I do RV traveling, and I find out he doesn't do international travel. He just does local travel. And in my head, I created this person who does international travel. Okay. So do you see how this is the reason why in a lot of my other videos, I've talked about getting off the app so quickly? Now, today we're talking about safety. If safety is a concern for you, then I don't want you to get off the app that quickly. I want you to chat in the app a little bit longer and get to know him. But, and this goes for men or women, because there's a lot of issues that both men and women are struggling with as far as feeling safe on some of these apps. I want you to take some time, but I want you to be very communicative with why you're taking the time you are. So if you are chatting on the app and you're getting to know each other, I want you to ask questions and I want you to have conversation and really get to know who that other person is. But that also means being vulnerable as well. It's hard to be open and vulnerable when you're really concerned about your safety, right? So open up, be vulnerable, but be very mindful of the information you're sharing. Don't share personal information like your address, or don't yet give your phone number if you're uncomfortable. Don't give specific details of where you live so that it's easy to figure it out. Obviously, if you live in a big city and you say, like say you live in Los Angeles and you're like, oh yeah, I live in Santa Monica. Well, they're probably not going to find you. But if you're in a small town and you're like, yeah, I live on such and such street across from such and such park, Well, now it's going to be a little easier. Okay. So just be mindful of the details that you're giving. It's okay to take your time, get to know the other person. And then when you are confident that this is someone that you want to meet, then meet them face to face. I do suggest doing phone calls because it's nice to hear a voice so you can hear tone. There's no tone in the texting. So I'm not saying text on the app for weeks on end, but it's okay to have additional exchanges of conversation through the app. I know like Bumble now offers an ability to call through the app. I think you can even video chat through the app, which is super cool. You never have to give your phone number. So I definitely suggest utilizing some of those options in the dating sites. So then that way you can feel really safe. You can see it's a real person as well. I know we're kind of all burned out on doing Zoom calls and video chats. And it's just, during the pandemic, it was a lot. And now I think a lot of people are just really tired of it. And we just want to meet face to face. But if the person on the other side says, I would really appreciate it if we could just do a phone call or a video chat before we meet in person, respect that. Just respect the fact that there's a reason for it. Sure. Are some of the reasons superficial? I want to see what you actually look like. I want to make sure you look like your pictures. Of course. But think about how many times you see fake profiles with photos, and we're going to go through that in a minute. So be open. I know we have our way that we like to date and we want to kind of fall back into the old pattern of dating, but it's okay to do a phone call or a video chat before meeting in person. And so what? You spend 20 minutes on a call and you don't go in, it doesn't lead anywhere. Then you've only wasted 20 minutes and then you move on to the next one. But if you're insisting on always meeting face in person on a date, dinner date, drinks date, whatever it is, that's more time consuming. So it's okay to take it a little bit slower if you're worried about your safety. Number 5, meet in a public place. I definitely suggest all first dates happen in very public places. And I usually like to suggest during the day. I know people have to do evening dates. You want to meet after work because it's the time that you have available. Otherwise, it's like, okay, we've been chatting. They asked me on a date on a Monday, and now I'm planning a date for Saturday. It's far away. For one, it's fine. You can text throughout the week. Just keep that connection. But if you can, plan a daytime date. There's a reason why everyone's going on coffee dates because it feels safe. It's coffee. It's a short date. You can do a coffee date in 40 minutes. You can do it in an hour. It doesn't have to be super long. It's daytime. Coffee shops are usually pretty crowded. There's a lot of people around, and then you go your separate way. It's really safe. Sure. Are you getting burned out on drinking a lot of coffee and tea? Probably. But it's also a very, very safe date to have with someone because it's daylight hours and it's crowded and there's a lot of people around. And if you feel unsafe with this person when they show up, then it's okay. There's enough, there's a lot of options with it, right? So that's why everyone's suggesting these coffee dates. Don't let them pick you up for the date. Take your own car. If you are doing an evening date and say you are doing an after work kind of date and you're meeting for drinks, I never suggest dinner on a first date, but if you do, that's up to you. Make sure that when you park, you're parking in a well-lit area. So parking garage that's well-lit, or if they have valet, do valet. If it costs you like an extra $10 to do, it's worth your safety. But just be really mindful if you have to walk to and from your car as well, that you're feeling really secure about where you've parked. maybe use the flashlight on your phone. There's a reason why our phones have these little flashlights. Just be really mindful of all of, from the time you leave your house, from the time that you get to the date and you have to get back home again. Just be mindful of all of where you're parking, the walking, all of that. Okay, which is why I don't usually suggest doing evening dates. But if you are, just be mindful of it. Also, before I move on to number 6, be mindful of the other person as well. So if you are a man meeting a woman for a date in the evening, please be mindful of her safety. If you offer to walk her to her car and she says no, okay, that's fine. But don't insist on it, because you might be thinking, well, I want to make sure she's safe. I want to make sure she gets to her car okay, because you're a nice guy. But she might be thinking, oh my God, I don't want you to walk me to my car. I parked in the parking garage. And what if you try and attack me in the parking garage? So that might be something she might be considering. It's okay to say, like, okay, I won't walk you to your car, but maybe you could just shoot me a quick text when you get home so I know that you were safe. That works too. Okay. All right. So let's talk about fake profiles, because that's a huge part of this. I do want to address that there are a lot of dating app profiles out there right now from OnlyFans. Okay, those are not fake profiles. Those are real profiles, real people that have an OnlyFans page. And this happens a lot more to men than it does to women. So I do want to address it. Running into these types of accounts is happening a lot. I hear a lot of men talking about, I think I'm matching with somebody that I can go on a date with, and it turns out they just want me to join their OnlyFans page. Or they're, we have a date set. This has happened. I've heard this story multiple times of men set up a date with someone they met on like Tinder. And then an hour before the date, she messages and says like, hey, I'm getting ready. I can't wait to meet you. And then she asks him to Venmo her like $50 for gas because she's out of gas and she doesn't have any other way to get there. Okay, so I feel like, yeah, obvious. Don't Venmo someone gas money to get to your date. That should be a huge, huge red flag. But also, it's going to be really difficult to spot those types of accounts. I'm going to show you some examples that might help. And then on the flip side, you also have fake accounts where they're just scams and they're just trying to get your money. A lot of times they're in other countries. And I know you guys know these things, but just to kind of reiterate, in case you're new to dating apps and this hasn't happened to you yet, they will often be in other countries. They will have very broken English. They will misspell a lot. And we're going to talk about it. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so I didn't want to throw anyone under the bus and find a fake profile on a dating site. So I created one. I did it very quickly so that I didn't get in trouble. And if you can't recognize the yellow in mine, I did a fake profile on Bumble. So I used me as the example. So things to look for when you're looking at a fake profile is incomplete profiles. Let me see if I can pop over here. I made a video. Ooh, I don't know why. All right. So, don't know where that music came from. My bad. Anyways. Okay. So when you are looking at a profile that is fake and has no information. Okay. So this is clearly my version of what to watch out for. I'm sorry, I don't have one for on the flip side of guys, but same idea. I'm going to play it through one more time. You see how I didn't answer any questions. I don't have any prompts answered. I don't have a bio written. And all of these images look airbrushed to the nth degree. I would assume if I saw this profile, okay, this is fake. Because for one, these are all professional looking photos. They're super, super airbrushed. Like, come on, if you can see me in the corner of your screen and versus these, like, these are my business photos, right? So watch out for that, okay? If every single one of these photos looks like they're professionally taken, be mindful of it. It's probably a fake account, or it could also be an OnlyFans account. You're looking for consistency, making sure that my photos look consistent from one another. Now, real accounts, come on, we know that we see a lot of accounts out there where some of the photos look like they're from like 10 years ago and some of them look like they're from yesterday, and you're confused on which is the more recent photo. And people are putting up pictures of themselves that are in groups with hats on and sunglasses, 10 years old, yesterday, selfies in the bathroom. So when you put your profile together, I know that you're probably looking through your phone and thinking like, I just don't have any photos of myself. Take some. Before you start your profile, take a few minutes and take some updated photos. At least a couple. Try and look nice in them. The next time you go out with friends, ask your friend, like, hey, can you just take a couple quick photos of me while I look all nice and dazzling so that I can put them up on my dating app profile? But be mindful of what your photos look like as well. You're looking for consistencies as far as if the age says, mine here says Andrea. Oh, that's my real name, but I didn't even use like a nickname thing for my example. 44. Do I look 44 in this picture? No, but I'm also airbrushed and touched up like crazy. Does the age match the actual age, the number that they're saying that they are? A lot of times you'll see accounts where they say they're 30 and they look 45. Or their profile will say they're 40. The number here will say they're 40. And in the description in the bio, they'll say, oh, I messed up and I didn't know how to change my age because you can't change it once it's set up, but I'm actually 50, not 40. Well, that doesn't mean they're a scam, but they're lying to you. So you're kind of getting scammed a little bit. A lot of times people will do that so that they can be in a younger age bracket or just a different age bracket. I've actually seen it the other way too. And again, here's that example, right, of avoiding profiles with overly attractive photos. These are obviously all very much airbrushed, professionally taken. I don't look like this on a regular basis, as I mentioned. And so you're just going to want to be mindful of where their photos are coming from. Are they all photos like these, or do they look like these are photos that I took, maybe last week when I was at a fun event? The other thing to watch out for is, for one, profiles that are just too good to be true. Right? If you're looking at this and you're like, oh my God, they match with me, it's too good to be true, they're so amazing, they sound perfect. Okay, well, they might be. It just might be. Suspicious behavior and verification. We talked about the verification. Look for those blue check marks. Those are really important. This is another one, this like fake profile with this grammar. And I took mine down immediately, but I did put one up that said about me, I'm spontaneous and always up for good adventure, love to travel, often in other countries. So I purposely did this because, for one, my grammar isn't so great. I didn't really check spelling and grammar, but these are common mistakes. So when you put your profile up, make sure that you're double checking your spelling and your grammar and your punctuation and all of that. But also a red flag probably is that I'm saying that I'm often in other countries. And a lot of fake accounts, a lot of scams will preface their profile with saying like, I travel a lot for work, so I'm usually out of the country. And then you start chatting on the app and they're asking you to move it over into WhatsApp. So don't do that. No WhatsApp. Okay. If you're ready to move into chatting, it needs to be texting, real texting. But more often than not, when you move from, say, Bumble into WhatsApp, it's because it's a scammer. They're just trying to get money off of you or get information, financial information. A lot of times they will use excuses of the military. I'm sorry, military folks, like, there's other ways to go about it when you're dating. I know this sucks for you guys because there are a lot of people on active military duty who are trying to meet someone so when they come home, they can have some dates. And it's completely legitimate, but you're getting kind of screwed a little bit because there's all these scammers that are using your same techniques to scam people. So don't use WhatsApp. If you are on active military duty and you're trying to chat with someone, keep it in the app. Don't take it into WhatsApp. And I'm pretty sure you can do a phone call or a video call. So then that way that person can see like, oh, you really are on active duty or you really are out of the country right now. So there's ways to verify that someone is real. Okay, the third and last part of today, we're going to talk about keeping it fun. I want you to be successful in dating if you're using the dating apps. So before you even get on an app, clarity is really, really important. So make sure that you are really defining what your goals are for being on the app. Are you just looking for validation? Because there's a lot of people out there just looking for validation. The dating apps have more people on now than ever before since the pandemic. And so many people means that you're going to have more scams and you're going to have people who are just looking to feel validated and feeling a little bit lonely, but not really looking to date. So while, yes, the number of people on dating apps has gone up, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's increased the number of legitimate users. So make sure that you're defining for you what it is you are looking for. Are you looking for a hookup? Are you looking to just see what's out there? Are you looking for a long-term relationship? Every single app has the ability to state what it is you're looking for. So be very honest and clear about it and get clear for yourself as well so that you know what it is you're looking for. Be open-minded. Okay, dating apps are tricky, and I know I've been busted making fun of like the fish pictures, men holding up fish in their pictures. But at the same time, I will be really honest, I've gone out with guys who have pictures of fish in their photos on their dating app profiles. Why? Because they're proud of it. They're using the photo because, for one, men don't usually take a whole lot of selfies. And two, they're not experts. Whether you are a female or a male, doesn't matter. However you identify, when you are using a dating app, you are looking for connection, you're looking to date. So maybe go into it with the idea of like, look, I'm not an expert. Well, I am, but like, you're not an expert in creating an ideal profile. maybe they're not either, and they're doing the best they can, and they're trying to put their best foot forward. So just looking at, are there real deal breakers here? If there's real deal breakers on their profile, then no, you don't have to match with them. And no, you do not have to start up a conversation. But do they seem like someone that you could handle getting to know? Could you deal with an hour of coffee with them, or a cup of tea, or a cocktail? Then maybe give them a chance. But be open to the fact that their profiles aren't going to be perfect. Your profile is not going to be perfect unless you've hired someone to create your profile for you, like what I do for my clients. But even still, it may not be perfect to someone else, to their point of view. Okay. So it's just good to keep it, be genuine, be authentic, be cool. This is dating. Dating is a lot of pressure. We are dating to have a connection with another human. So remember that when you are looking for a match on a dating app. Safety is really, really important. And there's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of, questionable behavior. I know that women are getting a ton of dick pics now on dating apps, and guys or gals, it happens both ways, but I know a lot of women who are talking about men who are just trying to hook up, or men are saying they're getting a lot of these OnlyFans, or women who are just trying to find a sugar daddy or find a rich boyfriend to take care of them. So it's going both ways. It's not only one way anymore. It's not just women trying to be mindful of their safety. It's not just men being mindful of women trying to get money off of them. There's a lot of safety to consider when you are on these dating apps. And I just want to make sure that everyone is doing their part. So it's not just what to look out for, but it's also what you're presenting. Okay. So it goes both ways. More about keeping it fun though. I got off on a little tangent there. I'm so sorry. Be very proactive with your dating app accounts. Okay. So you don't have to wait for someone to come to you. There's this mindset still around dating of, he has to make the first move. I need the other person to really show me that they're interested. You don't have to wait. You don't have to sit back and be chased. You can initiate a conversation and you can be proactive about showing interest. Does it mean that you need to be the one to ask for the first date? No. If you're not comfortable doing that, don't do that. But maybe let them know that you're interested. Give a compliment. Be a little bit flirty. We did a master class. Ooh, God, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was 2 months ago, maybe, about flirting styles. Go back and watch that one if you're not sure what your flirting style is, or you're like, Andrea, I don't know how to flirt. So go watch it, figure out what your flirting style is, and lean into your flirting style, but be more proactive when it comes to dating. It's okay to show interest. Okay, men and women equally like to know that the other person that they're interested in is also interested in them. Funny how that works. Plan fun dates. Your first date can still be fun and safe and in public. Get creative about what you do. I know I had a client a while back. They did a boba date. They got boba and met in a park that was close to them and walked around the park and had their boba tea or whatever. So get creative with how you do it, but again, be mindful that you're meeting in a public place and that you're not isolated. You're feeling safe. Everyone's safety is different. Some people feel very comfortable going on like a hiking date. Others do not feel comfortable doing that. I don't know how crowded your hikes are. I know for me here, I feel safe doing a hiking date mostly because they're packed. I mean, everyone's hiking on the weekend, so you're constantly passing people. But I would never be isolated on a trail where there's no one for hours. It's just not safe. So it can be fun and it can be safe at the same time. And be patient. I mean, don't go on your dating app for 2 weeks and then say, I didn't have any matches and get back off and back and forth. You're not going to be successful that way. Take a deep breath and go onto the app, create the best profile you can. Take time and be thoughtful with how you are creating your profile. You want the person on the other side to create a completed profile, then that means you need to do the same as well. If you are swiping through Bumble and you're seeing all these profiles where their information is missing, they don't have a bio, they didn't even answer any of the prompts, they have maybe 2 out of the 5 photos that you can have, or 6, however many it is, don't swipe on them. Don't swipe right. It's okay. You can just pass them up. Be mindful of what you're presenting as well as what they are presenting. And it's going to take a little time. Maybe don't rush through it. Swipe on maybe 10 to 20 profiles and see if any of them match. And then go back in another day or two and swipe a little bit more and then start conversations. And, dating is a huge challenge right now because so many people just want to have connection. We just want to quickly meet someone and go on a date and find your person and skip the dating process and be in the relationship, but it doesn't work like that. I hate to break it to you. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are really great in the relationship, but maybe not so great with the dating. Just take a deep breath, lean into the process, and have fun. And honestly, if you're really not feeling safe about dating apps, don't use them. You don't have to be on a dating app to meet someone nowadays. You can meet someone in person. You can join interest groups and meet people in interest groups. Meetup has a ton of them. Facebook offers a lot of local groups now. I know here there's tons of groups that are putting up their events on social media. There are a lot of ways to meet someone. So get out there, meet someone if you don't want to use a dating app. But if you are on the apps, stay safe. Be very mindful of the information you're sharing with someone. Be very mindful of where you're meeting them. Is it during the day? Is it at night? Don't get into their car. You don't know them. They're still a stranger. Okay. Stranger danger. I'm pretty sure all of our parents taught us about stranger danger. Still applies. And keep an eye out for those fake accounts. If it's too good to be true, if it looks like it's too good to be true, more than likely it probably is. So please feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions. Unfortunately, I can't see any questions coming through. And that kind of happened last time when I did this live. But I'll look to see below if there are questions that I might have missed, because it's really hard for me personally to keep up with questions and comments that are coming through. I might miss it because of comments that came through versus my screen. I don't know. I'm not super tech savvy. So this is a challenge, but I appreciate you guys being here with me. If I see questions, I will definitely answer them. And like I said, I want to stay connected with you guys. I would love for you to reach out to me on my website. Feel free to send me an email, follow me on all the stupid social. It's like 2023, right? We have to have all the social now. Some of you guys are watching this on YouTube and some of you are in the Facebook group. So for those of you who are on YouTube, not aware of the Facebook group, I have a Facebook singles group, and it's a really great way to meet other singles. We closely monitor it so that you are staying safe in the group. If people are reported, we ask them to leave, and I want to make sure that there's some way for you to meet other people, have chats in the group, ask questions about your dating. So if you're not there and you are on Facebook, feel free to pop over into Facebook. It's Date Smarter Singles, and love to see you over there. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. And I will see you next month for our next mastermind.